himself, Mr. Scalise. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Zach, and thank all of my colleagues who you just heard from, many of whom served our nation bravely in our nation's military. I want to say thank you to the over 1 million men and women in uniform who continue to serve right now, despite the uncertainty, that does not need to exist. And why? Because Chuck Schumer is more afraid of the radical leftists in his own party than he is concerned about making sure that those families don't have to wonder about whether or not they're going to be able to put food on the table. Their families, while they're overseas, many of them, are going to be able to put food on the table during this Schumer shutdown. And keep in mind, over 1/3 of all men and women who serve in uniform right now, over 1/3 of them live paycheck to paycheck. That means when Chuck Schumer is voting to deny them pay, many of them will not be able to make their rent payment or their mortgage payment. Many of them will not be able to make their car note payment. And the stress that adds to their lives unnecessarily should not happen, did not need to happen. This House came together. I'm so proud of the men and women I serve with in Congress here in the House, where we did our job weeks ago. We sent a bill over to the Senate. That doesn't resolve all of our differences. People often say, gee whiz, why can't Washington just get together? You know, which side's going to win this thing? It's not about which side wins. It's about stopping the American people from being the losers in Chuck Schumer's fight while we go negotiate our differences. We have big differences we need to negotiate, and the clean CR that we passed over to the Senate does not resolve those differences. It just gives us some more time to have that negotiation. And by the way, that clock is getting sooner every day. November 21st is not extending every day that Chuck Schumer continues this charade that he's playing with the lives of millions of American families. That date is going to get closer every day, where we're not going to have as much time to negotiate our differences. And how big are those differences? Just look at the wish list, the hostage list that Chuck Schumer filed weeks ago, his demands that he said have to be met before he'll even open up the government again. $1.5 trillion in new unrelated spending Chuck Schumer demanded, including, yes, eliminating all the verifications so that illegals will get taxpayer-funded health care. That's in Chuck Schumer's bill. Chuck Schumer guts the $50 billion rural hospital fund to give taxpayer-funded health benefits to illegals in his hostage demands. That's not going to happen. And so when are we going to have a rational conversation? When are Democrats going to actually become serious in this discussion where they say, let's open up the government and start talking about our differences, about how we're going to get this country back on track? And then contrast again, just look at what happened yesterday. Some of us were at the White House at just an amazingly emotional ceremony where President Trump posthumously, unfortunately, issued the Medal of Freedom to Charlie Kirk. And his incredibly brave widow, Erica, was there to receive it on his behalf and gave another emotionally powerful speech. And this comes on the heels of President Trump returning from the Middle East, where he was in Israel, he was in Egypt, working with other world leaders to establish historic Middle East peace. President Trump's been doing all those things, and in the middle of doing all of those things, he had to go find time to figure out creatively a way to pay our troops, even though Chuck Schumer wants to defund our troops. Yes, the party, the Democrats, that were for and continue to be for defunding our police now want to defund our military troops by not paying them, by not opening up the government. And the votes are clear. Nobody has to wonder which side is for shutting down the government, which side is for trying to deny troops their pay. We had yet another vote, the 8th time on the Senate floor yesterday. While we were at the White House, the Senate was having that vote on whether or not to open up the government. And you saw Democrats continued, led by Chuck Schumer, to shut down the government and deny troop pay. It's embarrassing. It's not just unserious. It's having devastating consequences on millions of Americans around this country, and it doesn't need to happen. We shouldn't have to wait until the Hate America rally this weekend or whatever it is that's driving Chuck Schumer to keep this going on, this damage that's being inflicted, so that he thinks it's going good for him while it causes damage, real harm to millions of American families, including our service men and women who are so bravely risking their lives for these great freedoms that we enjoy. We're going to continue to fight for freedom. We're going to continue fighting to open this government and do our jobs. And the whip of our conference is my friend, Tom Emmer.
If Chuck Schumer and the Democrats had things their way, more than 1 million service members would not get paid today. Thankfully, our commander-in-chief stepped up where the Democrats have refused by reallocating funds to ensure our troops receive their hard-earned paychecks today. Thanks to President Trump, military families across the country will have the resources they need to continue making ends meet just a little bit longer. Yet, what has been the Democrats' response? Representative Madeleine Dean told CNN yesterday, quote, "This is not the way to run a government," close quote. Making sure our troops get paid is not the way to run a government? You know what is actually not the way to run a government, Representative Dean? Holding the American people hostage over your $1.5 trillion wish list of radical demands. Clearly, the Democrat Party of today is not your grandfather's Democrat Party. They care about one thing and one thing only, appeasing the radical, pro-terrorist wing of their party. And they will inflict the maximum amount of pain on the American people to do it. But it doesn't have to be this way. Republicans have a nonpartisan government funding bill ready in the Senate. We've been talking about it now for more than 2 weeks. It can be sent to President Trump's desk immediately. We could end the Democrats' shutdown chaos today if they would do the right and reasonable thing by passing our clean CR. It contains 0 partisan policy riders, no gimmicks. It's the same spending levels that Democrats supported just 6 months ago and that they passed 13 times previously under the Biden administration. But 9 times now, 9 times, the Democrats have refused, shutting the government down in the process and forcing Americans to pay the price. All so they can gallivant around the Capitol making ridiculous videos, childish videos, scream at Capitol police officers who aren't getting paid, by the way, and buy time until their Hate America rally takes place on Saturday on the Mall. It's despicable and it's wrong. We can only hope that they come to their senses and that the madness ends soon. Until then, our message remains the same. Stop playing political games, pass our clean CR, and reopen the government for the people you were elected to serve. Lisa McClain, our conference chair.
Thank you.